Back here at the Dream Bowl once again, and perhaps many of you are wondering why Pittsburgh has the home field advantage. After all, both of these teams are undefeated. Steve, can you shed some light on this?
It's actually quite simple, Merrill. Pittsburgh's net point differential and won-loss percentage in games versus non-divisional opponents and conference opponents is factored against gross yardage compiled in relation to net yards allowed, and the quotient of which is simply multiplied by the strength of the schedule equation. It's the normal NFL procedure.
Can you repeat that? Of course, the computer will not factor in the home field advantage. Let's go down to the field for more pregame festivities, because now it's time for the release of the Doves. 100,000 birds.
Accompanied by the 500-member NFL Alumni and Wives Chorus under the direction of Art Donovan and Otis Sistrom.
Smart birds are up here in the booth, safe and sound, because next, according to our Dream Bowl program, 11 tactical wings from all branches of the armed forces are soon to be here. Right now, even as we speak, here they come across the farmlands of eastern Ohio.
But that's 100 miles away.
Yeah, but they are really moving.
And here they come. Look at this. Set right here. Great Britain's Red Arrow. There's the Blue Impulse in Japan. And maybe in Snowbirds. Never seen that before.
Steve, even some old B-52s. It's time for the coin toss, and Steve, why don't you tell us who's going to be doing those honors?
Well, he's returned just for the dream season. It's the last. You take it.
All right, handling the coin toss, he's here. He has returned. It's the king himself. It's Elvis.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the coin toss, it's Elvis.
Welcome to Dream Bowl, boys. Mr. Bonicani, Mr. Greasy, I want you to meet Mr. Green, Mr. Harris, and Mr. Lambert. You know what? Some blue suede shoes go real nice with that outfit, Bummer, baby. Now, Mr. Lambert, are you awake or what? Okay. All right, Mr. Greasy, I want you to call in the air, big guy. Ready? All right, here we go. Come on, baby. Head to this. All right, let's get it on. Come on, rock and roll, guys. Come on, do it. Yeah, don't pump anything, you'll leave.
Here he goes, ladies and gentlemen.
Merrill Reese and Steve Sable at the Dream Bowl at Pittsburgh's Three Rivers Stadium. A terrible town, invention, I believe, of Steelers sportscaster Byron Coate.
That's right.
You're still feeling the effects of that jet display?
What a show.
Woo. Well, the big show is about to begin as Roy Girella approaches the football and the game is underway. End over end, coming down to Mercury Morris, who stumbles, gets up, comes across the 5, the 10, on his feet at the 15, and just makes it back to the 20, tackled by Larry Anderson. First and 10 for the Dolphins. They have the football on their own 20.
And as we set the offense here, this offense is characterized by two things: consistency and emotional stability. Now, the big play potential is there with Paul Warfield and Mercury Morris, but the Dolphins prefer to wear you out with relentless, mistake-free execution.
First play, it's a run, and it's a give to Larry Zonka off the left side across the 30. Larry Zonka pulled down by Bill Blunt, Mike Wagner, and Dirk Winston. But a pickup pickup of 10 yards off the left side.
Well, the mark of a great runner is how many yards he makes after he's hit. And Zonka, he never goes down on first contact. He was gang tackled there. It looked like he was stopped, but then the whole pile moved forward 2 yards.
Steve, here's the Pittsburgh defense.
3 members of this defense are already in the Hall of Fame. Joe Green, Jack Ham, and Blunt. Jack Lambert's sure to follow.
1st and 10 for the Dolphins. They have the ball at their own 30. Opening minutes of action. Reese sets the offense. Give is to Morris. Morris trying to sweep. Leaps over Zonka. Heads down the left sideline, and he spins for a gain of 13 yards. Morris up to the 43-yard line. Wagner on the tackle.
One of the great strengths of this Miami team stems from the fact that Don Shula knows everyone's limits and abilities. Jim Kick, number 21 there. Not a great runner, but has good hands, and he replaces Mercury Morris on 3rd down situations because of his skill as a receiver. And, of course, on defense and passing situations, Shula inserts linebacker Bob Matheson and switches to a 3-4. You know, today, everyone uses situation substitution, but Shula had mastered that concept 15 years ago.
So the Dolphins are keeping it on the ground. A deep pitch goes to Morris. Morris tries to turn the corner. He cannot. He cannot. As Jack Ham spills him for a 3-yard loss.
It's very difficult to sweep the Steelers. Their linebackers are just simply too quick and agile. Watch Jack Ham here, number 59. I can't think of another corner linebacker who could put mind and muscle together quicker and with better judgment than Jack Ham.
And don't forget, it was Ham's interception, Steve, in the final seconds against the 49ers in the playoffs that enabled the Steelers to reach this game. All right, the give again to Morris. Stumbling, staying on his feet. Down the right sideline this time for a big gain in the Steeler territory. Boy, he picked up another 13-yard gain in the 1st down. So if you don't succeed the first time, go right back and try the other side.
Well, it's another excellent example of how Shula adapts his system to fit his players. The play was designed to take advantage of Morris's quickness and agility. But right here, see, he can either turn upfield or bounce to the outside. But when Larry Zonka cuts down Jack Ham, the outside way is clear. Morris makes the right decision, sweeps the end for a 1st down, and that's also why Zonka is in the Hall of Fame. He blocks and runs with equal impact.
Staying on the ground, the Miami meat grinder continues to execute a game plan that surprises no one. 9 consecutive running plays penetrate Pittsburgh's defense. But at the 6-yard line, the steel curtain closes down on Zonka. With 1 foot to go on 3rd down, they reject his bid for a 1st down.
The Dolphins have driven 74 yards in 9 plays. On the 4th down and a 1.5 foot at the Steelers' 6-yard line.
Shula's got a decision to make here.
A lot of times, Steve, in a situation like this, the coach theorizes you don't want to go away without any points.
Let's just give it to us,
Right, but remember, the Dolphins have scored a touchdown on every opening drive and every one of their 7 victories in the dream season. And Shula likes to get that first touchdown, get a lead, get leverage, then force his opponent to throw into his ball-hawking defense.
And plus, with a runner like Zonka, you figure he can bowl for that much. It is Zonka, and now don't think he made it. I do not think he made it. Mel Blunt, white on the stop, and the steel curtain has held and the fans go wild.
Now that Steeler offense takes the field, and this offense has scored the most points in the dream season. And the Steelers, they're a devastating combination of boxer and puncher. They beat you short with Franco Harris. They beat you long with Bradshaw throwing to Lynn Swann and John Stallworth.
There's Blyer in motion. Into the end zone to throw is Bradshaw. He is firing to the left sideline, complete to John Stallworth. That is a 19-yard gain.
Here's that Miami defense. This defense gave up the fewest points in the Dream season, and yet if you were to sweep up their 11 starters and hand them en masse to Pittsburgh, you know, Merle, I don't know if any would win starting jobs. It's a unit without superstars, but more importantly, it's a defense without a weakness.
Pittsburgh superstar quarterback Terry Bradshaw is looking downfield. Now he's being chased. Putting on the brakes. Firing across field. Picked off. Bonicani intercepts it. There's the first turnover of the game. And the Dolphins are in good shape in Steelers territory.
Well, the reason for that interception, Merle, was Miami's discipline. When Bradshaw started to scramble, the Dolphins remained in their zones of responsibility, and when the pass was slightly off target, Bonicani was in position to pick it off. And Bonicani, by the way, is not only the oldest member of the Dolphin defense, and there he is right there, number 85, but also the most valuable. He gives meaning to the definition of what it is to play hard and intelligently.
Dolphins in great shape on the Steelers' 36. Greasy backpedals, putting it up for the first time today. Going deep. Twilly is open. Has it at the 4 and walks in. Greasy to Twilly, and the Dolphins score. Shula is hugging Bill Arnsparger. It was his defense that set up the touchdown with that interception. We have come to the end of the first quarter. Miami 7, Pittsburgh nothing. 7-0 Miami here in Pittsburgh in the Dream Bowl. Greasy to Twilly for the only score.
Greasy is the perfect quarterback for Shula's ball control offense. Conservative, efficient, unselfish. Bradshaw, on the other hand, can be reckless, but he's also a resilient competitor who seems to save his best for last. You know, he's thrown a touchdown pass in the fourth quarter of every Super Bowl he's ever played in.
1st and 10, Steelers in their own 13. The give is to Harris, trying the right side and squeezing through for about 3 or 4 yards. Bob Hines and Bill Stanfield in on the tackle. It'll be 2nd and 6 for the Steelers. The ball up to their 17-yard line. Franco a bit slow getting up.
You know, the Army is here today. Franco's Italian Army, mustering again after 15 years of civilian life.
And there's their 4-star general. Isn't that Tony Stagno?
That's right. Franco differs from Zonka in that he doesn't perceive every play as an examination of manhood. He runs with a sense of time and place, and he's carried the ball more times for more yards and scored more touchdowns in postseason games than anyone else ever.
Steelers going with 3 wide receivers, Swan, Stolworth, and Theo Bell. They have a 2nd and 6 in their own 17. Swan split to the right. Bradshaw, play action. He's back. He's going deep down the right sideline. Complete to Bell. Bell racing down the right sideline. Tries to cut back at the 30. And he is brought down at the 20. Bradshaw to Theo Bell. That was a 63-yard gain.
Chuck Noll's basic offensive strategy is to make the defense stop his big play receivers. And Noll has an excellent grasp of the passing game because, you know, he broke in as a coach under Sid Gilman's big play system in San Diego. You know, Hadel to Allworth. And then in the late 60s, Noll became an assistant on Don Shula's staff in Baltimore.
We have a moment here, Steve. Let's check in with our staff up in the space shuttle. Ben, what's the view of Three Rivers like from up there?
On behalf of our entire 8-man crew, greetings from the moon. Captain Casciani is putting the camera up to the aft viewing porthole, and there's Three Rivers Stadium. What do you think, Steve?
Man, you guys are up there. I mean, Merle, they are up there.
Down here on Earth, the Dolphins lead 7-0. 1st and 10 Steelers, ball on the Miami 20. Bradshaw is being rushed. He ducks under Fernandez. He's looking. Swan's open. Bradshaw hits him for a touchdown. Bradshaw to Lynn Swan. He was wide open.
Well, that drive was a concise resume of the Steeler attack. Daring, explosive, able to score from anywhere, anytime. In 1978, Swan led the Steelers in receptions and touchdowns, but I think it's his style rather than his stats that make him unique. Elegant, graceful. He's Cary Grant in cleats.
We are tied at 7 apiece. The Dolphins have controlled the clock. The Steelers have made the big plays.
We can now turn on the grease, get a little batter, and get these Dolphins. All right.
Dolphins have only thrown 2 passes so far.
But remember, Merrill, in Super Bowl VII against the Redskins, Miami threw only 11 passes. And last week in the Dream Season playoffs against Oakland, Greasy passed only 14 times. Miami, you're talking about a land-based operation.
1st and 10, Dolphins in their own 22. Greasy pitches to Kick. Kick tries the outside. Oh, he is collared by Mean Joe Green. No gain.
Well, Green is is a man of such prodigious strength and power that he not only gets runners down, but he embarrasses them in the process. You know, Kick weighs 215, and look what Green did to him. And Green was the first member of this Steeler team to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame.
2nd down and 10 for the Dolphins. The ball remains on their 22. Greasy with a short drop. Fires out. Complete the mandage in the flat, but he is tackled by Mel Blount. Again, no gain.
Well, the Pittsburgh secondary hits like the front 4 of most other teams, and that means receivers pay the price for each reception.
It's 7 apiece. Dolphins with a 3rd and 10 on their own 22. We have 7:06 remaining in the half. Greasy up and under center. He's back looking over the middle. Complete to Warfield. Warfield down the middle with 1 man to beat. He is tackled by Mike Wagner, who just saved a touchdown.
Well, that's the pattern that took Paul Warfield to the Hall of Fame. A quick post over the middle that requires both courage and concentration.
Warfield's catch and run is followed by another successful pass play. This one from Greasy to tight end Marv Fleming. Inside the Steeler 10, Miami returns to their running game to complete the drive. But once again, Miami's mighty charge falls short of the end zone and dies on the walls of Pittsburgh's defensive fortress. This time, Shula settles for a field goal, and Yepremian's kick gives the Dolphins a 3-point lead.
Miami. Steelers 1st and 10. Ball on their own 20. 4:02 left in the half. Bradshaw gives to Blyer. Blackie tries to get to the outside. Gets a good block from Sam Davis. And Blyer is banged out of bounds by Doug Swift, but he picks up 6.
Good blocking. You know, the Steelers' offensive line is the unsung part of this team. They like their offensive linemen short and compact, built for pulling and trapping. You don't see the slob sweep with the Steelers. When these guys pull, they get out quickly and throw their bodies. They knock people down.
Well, I'll tell you, Steve, they take after their coach, Chuck Noll. He was an offensive lineman when he played for the Browns. He wasn't big, but he got by on intelligence and technique, and these are qualities that he looks for in his offensive lineman.
You know, center Mike Webster, number 52, is still playing in the NFL. He's the starting center for the Kansas City Chiefs.
2nd and 4 for the Steelers. They are trying to regain momentum.
Behind the reliable blocking of his offensive line, Bradshaw renews his attack on the no-name defense. This drive reveals still another dimension of Pittsburgh's multi-talented offense. There are no big plays, but a lot of small ones, executed with determination, precision, and without error.
Franco Harris excels at running to daylight. He has no body lean when he runs. He's very upright, but because of that, he has a clear view of the defense. And I think if you put a carpenter's level on his head, I bet the bubble would stay steady as he ran.
Well, he's breaking Miami's bubble right now. He's been the force of this drive, gaining 51 of the 62 yards. It's 10-7 Miami. We're in the closing minute of the first half. 2nd and 5 for the Steelers on the Miami 18. Bradshaw looking over the middle to Stallworth. Stallworth trying to get to the end zone. He is at the 5. He tiptoes down the sideline. A remarkable play. Remarkable play by John Stallworth. He did, Steve. He broke away. 5 men had a shot at him.
You know, with Stallworth and Swan, the Steelers might have the greatest duo of big play receivers the game has ever known. And if football is like chess, you know, Merrill, as some people like to say, then wide receivers, players like Stallworth and Swan, are the bishops. One of them, used properly, can do great damage. Two can dominate the board.
And so we've come to the end of the first half as they wave those towels at Three Rivers. It's Pittsburgh 14, Miami 10. Merrill Reese and Steve Sable back in Pittsburgh. We're at the half. The Steelers are up 14-10. Steve, the keys.
Well, Pittsburgh's ahead, Merrill, because of their resilience and their determination. Twice their defense was backed up inside their own 7, and both times they dug in and prevented a touchdown. Then there's the way Terry Bradshaw bounced back from that early interception. He went on to complete 8 of his next 13 throws, and 2 of them were for touchdowns. And he's not throwing a lot of those little dump-off passes. He's throwing quality passes. And like all great quarterbacks, over 10% of his completions during his career were for touchdowns. And here in the first half of the Dream Bowl, he's right around that ratio, Merrill. 9 completions, and 2 of those were for touchdowns.
All right, speaking of the stats, right now let's go to Chris Berman for a special feature on the statistical leaders of the Dream season.
Our halftime feature is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman. Blimps, birds, jets, and Elvis aside, what a Dream Bowl we've been having so far. But in our final halftime highlights edition, instead of bringing you game highlights, we're going to take a look back at the 6-game regular season and touch on the statistical leaders and the Dream season stars who outshined them all.
Who led the Dream season in sacks? Look no farther than number 56 of the 86 Giants, Lawrence Taylor. 13 sacks topped the Dream season charts. This one of his friend and ours, Joe Theismann. Herb Adderley of the 66 Packers got to know Johnny Unitas very well in real life as a football player and in the Dream season. Adderley led the Dream season with 5 INTs. With help like this from Ray Nitschke, he took this one all the way against the Colts. How many great running backs did we see in the Dream season? None were better in combined yards from scrimmage than the Baltimore Colts of 59, Lenny Moore. He did it rushing, and he did it through the airwaves, combining for 980 yards from scrimmage, topping everybody else in the Dream season. The Raiders' Matt Millen had more than his hands full trying to keep Larry Zonka out of the end zone. The 72 Dolphins Zonk scored 9 rushing touchdowns, more than anyone that we saw in the 6 weeks of the Dream season. And no surprise, the leading rusher, you know who this is, Jim Brown of the 64 Browns. 717 yards, many of them in the tough variety, but Brown afterwards, another day at the office. The Bullet, number 22, Rapper Robert Hayes of the 71 Cowboys, came closest to averaging 20 yards a catch. 18.8, led all wide receivers. This one went for a lot farther against Emmett Thomas and the Chiefs. But the leading receiver in number, Dwight Clark of the 84 49ers, burning Mel Renfro and everybody else he faced this year. Joe Montana hooked up with Clark 38 times, leading all wide receivers in that category. But as far as most damage goes at the wideout, number 21, Cliff Branch of the 76 Raiders. 6 games, 8 touchdowns. He was the big play man for the season. Yards thrown, Terry Bradshaw of the 78 Steelers. 1,489 yards. But the guy who got the most out of his passes, Ken Stabler. The Snake led everybody with 15 touchdown passes, many of them coming in the final minute.
What about our picks for divisional MVPs? Well, How about Oakland's Ken Stabler in the north? What about Miami's Larry Zonka in the south? Pittsburgh's Terry Bradshaw in the east. Out west, San Francisco's Golden Joe Montana. So at the half, Pittsburgh 14, Miami 10. And in just 30 minutes, we'll crown the champion of the dream season. Stephen Merrill will be back with second half action in just a moment. I'm Chris Berman, and indeed, this has been a pleasure. Enjoy.
Merrill Reese and Steve Sable back at the Dream Bowl with the 1978 Steelers lead the 1972 Dolphins 14-10 here at the half. For those of you watching for the first time, the results and statistics of all the games played in the Dream season were determined by the XOR Company, the officially licensed computer software program of the National Football League. It's 14-10 Steelers as the second half is about to get underway. Premian approaches the football. Boy, he really got his foot into that one, and it sails over the end zone. No return. They'll bring it out to the 20. And Bradshaw brings the offense onto the field. In the first half, Bradshaw was 9 for 15. He had a pair of touchdowns, one to Swan and one to Stolworth. Well, the one to Stolworth was spectacular. And he was picked off once by the Miami defense. First and 10, Pittsburgh on their own 20. The give is to Harrison. He is knocked down by Bernd and Herder for no gain.
You know, Chuck Noll has always liked to exploit his opponent's speed by using trap plays. Now, these are plays designed to lure defensive linemen into the backfield where they can be blindsided or trapped by a pulling guard. But the Miami linemen, they don't penetrate. They wait and read. So on that last play, Den Herder just waited at the line while the play developed, and then he disposed of his blocker and tackled Harris. Shula's defense doesn't attack. It just it sits there like a speed bump.
Well, that defense allowed the fewest points and had the most interceptions in the Dream season. There's David Shula, young David Shula in that orange shirt. Bradshaw back to throw again. He goes to Franco Harris. Harris is grabbed and spun down by Manny Fernandez. The ball is loose, and it's recovered by Lloyd Mumford. And there is another Steeler turnover. That is the first fumble of the day, and Franco's only fumble of the Dream season.
You don't see that happen very often.
First time the Steelers turned the ball over was on that interception, and that led to the Dolphins' touchdown. 14-10 Pittsburgh. We're in the third quarter. First and 10 Miami. They're on the Steelers' 18. There's Jack Lambrick staring at Grayson.
Boy, if looks could kill, that man would be doing 20 to life.
I don't know. Chuck Noll says he's a fun guy. He said he has the heart of a small boy.
Yeah, he keeps it in a jar on top of his locker.
Greasy sets the offense. He's back. It's intercepted by Jack Ham. Ham coming upfield to the 35-yard line. So there is Greasy's first interception of the day.
And that's another lesson, Merle, on why the Steelers are in the Dream Bowl. It's not that they don't make mistakes. It's just that they make up for those mistakes with other outstanding plays.
The back-to-back takeaway set the tone for the third quarter. A violent drama, dominated by two unforgiving defenses. Different in design, but equal in effect. For 9 minutes, the two teams played dead even, locked in an embrace from which neither can free itself. Late in the period, the balance of the game begins to tilt in favor of the Dolphins. They raise their offense to new levels of intensity and commitment and begin a determined march into the steel curtain. ground grudgingly, yielding to the will and unbroken spirit of a team that has never known defeat. With Morris sweeping the ends and Zonka plunging up the middle, Miami labors into scoring range.
(14-10) Pittsburgh. 1:18 remaining in the third quarter. Miami has a 2nd and goal at the Steelers' 8. Steelers defense hasn't allowed the big plays. They've made the Dolphins work for every yard.
Well, that's all right with Shula. The Dolphins are playing their game. You know, their victories aren't won in miles, but in inches. Their opponents just get worn down. It's victory by erosion.
2nd and goal at the Steelers' 8 for the Dolphins. As Greasy fakes, sets up. He floats it for Zonka at the 6, at the 5. He bangs his way in for a touchdown. Zonka clears near the 5, and Greasy hits him, and the Dolphins regain the lead.
Well, that was just a little outlet pass, and Zonka ran right through fellow Hall of Famer Mel Blount. In 1972, Zonka caught only 5 passes, but this play is typical of Shula's ability to make changes. Small adjustments, subtle shifts in strategy, little unexpected things that catch his opponent off guard. It's a little changeup, but in Miami's meticulous offense, it's the sum of little things that count.
Steve, I guess you could say it's been a classic Miami march. Relentless, no penalties, and the raw power of that man, Larry Zonka.
It was a drive of great technical precision as well as physical power. Something along the lines of a Van Cliburn who could lift a piano as easily as he could play it.
And so we've reached the end of the third quarter. Dolphins 17, Steelers 14. 17-14 Dolphins, 11 minutes to play in the fourth quarter of the Dream Bowl. Here's referee Ben Drake. Art McNally has really assembled a roster of all-star officials for this Dream Bowl. He is Tommy Bell, Norm Schachter, Ed Marion, Stan Javi. What a distinguished group of field marshals. Greasy's play action, basically play action passes today. He's been 9 for 12, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Well, Greasy really utilizes all his receivers. In 1972, his leading receiver was Paul Warfield, who caught only 29 passes. But 7 other players caught more than 10. It's a very balanced passing attack, and that same pattern is held true here in the Dream Bowl. Of Greasy's 9 completions, Warfield and Twilly have 2 each, and Zonka, Kick, Mandich, Briscoe, and Fleming all have 1 apiece.
1st and 10 Miami. They have the ball on their own 19. Here comes the blitz. Greasy ducks under Ham. He's still on his feet. He's being chased. He's still rolling. He's looking downfield. Greasy trying to find somebody. He's in deep trouble. He fires. Complete to Marlon Briscoe. Briscoe racing down the sideline. He is finally grabbed and tackled, but I don't know how Greasy got away from the Steelers' rush.
Well, Greasy might not be the best scrambler or best passer, but he knows where to pass and when to scramble better than anyone.
It's 1st and 10 for Miami. They have a 17-14 lead. Franco Harris looks concerned as the clock continues to tick away seconds here in the fourth quarter. 1st and 10 Miami as Greasy backpedals, looks to the sideline, complete to Moore Fleming. Moore Fleming pulls away from 2 men, still on his feet, hit by Wagner and Ham, and finally dropped. That was an 8-yard gain, and Greasy is getting hot. 5:24 left. Rocky Blyer glances up at the clock and wishes the offense could get back on the field.
In the final quarter, the Dolphins prove how many fresh turns are left on their well-traveled road to victory. While Zonka continues to battle the Steelers' front 4 on the ground, Greasy, Warfield, and Briscoe wage war in the air. With this surprising blend of finesse and force, the Dolphins reach the Steelers' 5-yard line. But there, 2 runs by Zonka gained only a yard. Then, on 3rd down, Morris is cut down for a loss of 3. For the 3rd time in the game, the Dolphins are denied a touchdown after penetrating the Pittsburgh 10-yard line, and Garo Yepremian is called on to attempt a 24-yard field goal. His kick slices inside the left upright, and Miami's lead grows to 20-14.
Both 3 remaining in the 4th quarter. And a season of dreams is heading for an end here at Three Rivers Stadium. Miami 20, Pittsburgh 14. 1st and 10 for the Steelers on their own 20. Bradshaw wheels and gives to Franco Harris. Looking for running room. He slithers off the left side for about 8.
Well, it's going to be very important now for the Steelers to get good yardage like that on 1st down and stay out of obvious passing situations, because that's when Miami's defense is at its best. They send in Bob Matheson, number 53, and there he is right there talking to Coach Shula. He's a linebacker, and he comes in for alignment, and he can either help out in the secondary or he can rush the passer.
It's 2nd and 2 for the Steelers. They trail by 6. This is the sternest challenge this great Steelers team has ever faced.
The call to glory is sounded, and the Steelers answer with bold strokes. Bradshaw, Swan, Stallworth, Harris, and Blyer summoned forth the skills that brought an unprecedented 4 Super Bowl championships to the city of Pittsburgh. With less than a minute to play, a sweep by Harris puts Pittsburgh on the Miami 3.
And Harris is knocked out of bounds by Dick Anderson and Doug Swift. We are seeing the Steelers at their best. They're attacking at too many different angles almost to defend. 28 seconds to play here in the Dream Bowl. Miami's undefeated record is in jeopardy. The Steelers have a 1st and goal at the Dolphins' 3-yard line. A field goal is of no use. Bradshaw bootlegging, racing to his left. He's got the ball. There's a fumble. It's recovered by Jerry Mullins. The referee is signaling a touchdown. Now, I'm not sure the official is signaling touchdown.
Shula's upset about something here. But had this play occurred in 1978, it would have been a touchdown. But in 1979, the league passed a rule which says after the 2-minute warning, a fumble may only be advanced by the player who fumbles the ball. This touchdown will not count, Merrill.
Trouble for the Steelers. Bradshaw is hurt. He is shaken up, and Mike Kruchek is warming up. He's the 2nd-round draft choice from Boston College. He saw token action in 1978. He's never thrown a touchdown in his NFL career.
Play was nullified.
Yep.
Play was nullified.
There's Bradshaw, who at the moment is wondering where he is. He really looks groggy.
Kruchek will quarterback the Steelers. You know, historians say it's the man who makes the moment, but in sports, it's often the occasion that creates the hero, and championship games can breed improbable heroes. Max McGee, Jim O'Brien, Doug Williams, Chuck Mersine. Here we go.
Will Kruchek be added to that list? 2014 Miami. Give is to Harris. Heading for the corner. He is wrestled out of bounds. Curtis Johnson rides him out of bounds with 7 seconds left. He does not make it.
Terry Bradshaw's warming up, Merrill. They might get him in for one more play. He's putting on his helmet. Terry Bradshaw is coming back in the game for the Steelers. And Bradshaw's the man you want in there now because of his running ability. He's extremely valuable near the goal line, although that last bootleg he tried got him a ticket to Palookaville.
And the pressure is great on this Miami defense as Bonicani rallies his teammates. Dolphins 20, Steelers 14, 7 seconds left. Steelers with a 3rd and goal from the 3. This could be the last play as Bradshaw splits his receivers. Does he go to one of them? Swan to the right, Stallworth to the left. Bradshaw spins, gives to Harris at the 5. He's in! Touchdown! Franco Harris! This place is going bonkers! We're tied at 20. The Steelers can win it with the extra point.
Merle, that was just a typical Steeler quick trap right up the middle. That's their bread and butter play. It's been effective against the Dolphins all day, and in Super Bowl 13 against the Cowboys, Franco scored a decisive touchdown on the same type of play.
If he misses, if he's tackled at the 1, the time runs out, but he goes in. And now, Roy Jarrella with the weight of the ages on his shoulders. Football, the 1978 Pittsburgh Steelers are the greatest of all time. NFL Dream Bowl, brought to you by Kelly Tires. Kelly, a good deal on a great tire. In a dream season full of heart-pounding excitement, the Dream Bowl certainly didn't prove anticlimactic. The Steelers did all the things they did so well for so long. Bradshaw hit Swan and Stallworth for touchdowns. Franco produced in the clutch. And Steve, that mighty steel curtain lived up to its reputation.
Merrill, I think when you analyze the reasons for the Steelers' success, you return to that universal key that unlocks all doors to victory on a football field, and that's defense. And I think it was the ability of the Steelers' defense to respond to moments of crisis that won this game. 3 times, Miami muscled their way inside Pittsburgh's 10-yard line, and each time, the steel curtain shut down the drive without a touchdown.
We'll be back with some final thoughts on the dream season. The final, once again, the Steelers beat the Dolphins 21-20. The Steelers end up as champions, but, Steve, it was a season filled with champions.
It really was, Merrill, and we'd like to end this dream season with a final salute to all the great teams, coaches, and players who made this season come true. Their achievements, their skill and courage are what this dream was made of. For Merrill Reese, I'm Steve Sable, and it all happened in a dream season.
you by Chrysler Motors. Satisfaction is your right, and we intend to see you get it.
If you're asking me where the 72 Dolphins that had a perfect season, from start to finish, from the first game to the Super Bowl rates, I think it's fairly obvious. There's no question. It's the number one team.
We had lost the Super Bowl the year before.
The Dallas Cowboys are the champions of Super Bowl 6.
In 72, all we wanted to do was get back to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl.
They call the Miami defense the no-name defense, or they used to, because they had obscure names of free agents, low draft picks, but by now they're all big names.
That defense, those guys were sensational. Two of the best safeties that ever played the game, and Dick Anderson and Jake Scott. Those two cats would give a quarterback some phony reads. Had me totally fooled with what defense it was going to be.
171 points all year. Lowest in the league, 26 interceptions. You think you can do everything against this defense, but for some reason they seem to stop you.
He spins, tries to get the hand off away. Hernandez comes in and almost steals the ball. He does!
And Nick Buoniconti was all over the field.
This defense has just been magnificent today.
Those Dolphins never cease to amaze me. They've given up the least points in the NFL. They've scored the most.
The Dolphin ground attack broke a 36-year-old record to become the greatest rushing team in NFL history and the first to have two 1,000-yard runners on the same squad.
That team will always be the greatest team ever to me. Mercury Morris, Jim Kick, Larry Zonka.
Give it a Zonka.
The greatest running attack in the history of football.
They're my backbone of my NFL experience.
We won the first 4 games, and then I got hurt, and here comes Earl Morrow. Earl won the ball game, won the next 10 games.
Now he's going to run with the ball. 15, he might score. 10, 5, touchdown, Dolphins! They got him out of the rocking chair to play, and he runs one in.
Every game, we didn't think about going undefeated. That never even was mentioned.
The most impressive record in all of the National Football League. 10 games played, 10 games won.
We thought about winning the division.
This is a true effort today of 40 people wanting to be the first team in history to win 14 games in a regular season. So we're very proud of this football team.
And then we thought about winning in the playoffs.
Crossway, Zonk at the 5, gets off a tackler and goes in for a touchdown.
And then, once you get to the Super Bowl, you can't lose that game.
No team has ever come into the Super Bowl with an unblemished record. No team has ever won 17 games in a row in a professional football season. Miami's shooting for that record today. Greasy to the corner to Philly's got him! Philly! Touchdown!
The Dolphins have won Super Bowl 7, have completed the greatest season in NFL history.
They were the best that ever played when you come to the records, you know what I mean. Going undefeated, and we know the Patriots almost got there, but almost only counts in horseshoes and a few other things.
All right. Another year.
I don't care how many times the other teams dominated, did things, they lost a friggin' game.
Perfection is good, right?
Perfection is perfection. Close? Get a cigar. There's only one team that drinks the champagne.
Here's the 40 years, and here's the 40 more. I salute you. Thank you.
Perfection is perfection, not shades of perfection. Perfection.